She chose his riches over my dreams, and now she wants me back. I never imagined it would end like this. I always thought we'd figure things out, that everything would work itself out in the end. But here I am, sitting in a brand new apartment, looking at the city lights below, knowing that everything I thought I knew about love and loyalty has been completely shattered. Let me take you back to the beginning, to when it all started. When everything seemed perfect. It was about a year ago. I was working on a project, a new idea that I believed could change everything for me. I was deep into it, late nights, early mornings, hardly leaving my apartment except to grab coffee. My mind was always racing, trying to find solutions, perfect the details, envision the future. I was consumed. At first, Cynthia was understanding. She'd bring me coffee, give me space, but I could tell something was wrong. She started pulling away, her smile didn't reach her eyes anymore, and I knew she felt neglected. But I had no time to stop, no time to give her the attention she wanted. I had to get this project off the ground, this was my shot. Then there was Brett, my best friend since childhood. We'd been through everything together, but lately, I'd started to notice things. Brett was the kind of guy who could show up anywhere and steal the spotlight. He came from a wealthy family, but he had no real ambition. He was always dressed to the nines, designer clothes, expensive watches, shoes that cost more than my rent. And, of course, women flocked to him. It didn't matter that he didn't have a real job, he had the one thing that mattered to most people, money, and the freedom that came with it. And when he wasn't flashing his expensive taste, he was charming, throwing lavish parties that would always have the most gorgeous women there. But here's the thing, Cynthia loved the excitement. She loved the idea of luxury, the flashy lifestyle, the attention. And Brett, with his expensive car and his endless charisma, gave her exactly what she wanted. One night, everything came to a head. Cynthia and I had a fight. It wasn't even a big thing, just a small disagreement about me not being present enough, not being the boyfriend she needed. I told her I was sorry, but that I couldn't stop now, not when I was so close. She got upset and left to stay at her friend's house. I didn't think much of it at the time. She was upset, I was wrapped up in my work, and I thought things would blow over. But they didn't. A week later, I was at the office when I ran into an old acquaintance from college. She worked as a manager at a hotel downtown. She was surprised to see me and, without missing a beat, asked how things were going with Cynthia. I said it was fine, but she hesitated. You know, I saw her last weekend, she said, lowering her voice. She was with Brett. They went up to a room together. My heart dropped. What? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. They were together all night. Cynthia came out the next morning, but not in the same outfit she had on when she went in. It wasn't hard to put two and two together. I didn't want to believe it, but the look on her face said everything I needed to know. I didn't say anything. I didn't confront Cynthia. I didn't ask Brett. I just disappeared. I closed myself off completely. I threw myself into my work even more. I was done feeling betrayed, done feeling like I wasn't enough. Months went by. I threw myself into my project, my only focus. The long hours, the sleepless nights, it all paid off. 6 months later, a major corporation bought my idea, paying me an incredible sum. With that money, I bought myself a new car, moved into a luxury apartment in a neighborhood I had always dreamed of. I thought moving on would feel different. I thought I'd be at peace, and in many ways, I was. But there was one thing I didn't expect, running into Cynthia and Brett again. One afternoon, I was driving down the street, enjoying the new car, when I saw them. They were standing on the sidewalk, arguing. I recognized them instantly, Cynthia, looking disheveled, her eyes wild, and Brett, his usual confident self, standing tall, shouting at her. I stopped my car a few feet away and watched, but something stopped me from getting out. It wasn't anger I felt. It wasn't jealousy, either. It was just disappointment. It was as if I was looking at the broken pieces of what once was, and I knew there was nothing left to fix. I drove away without a word. But a few days later, my phone buzzed. It was Cynthia. She asked me where I was living now, and when I told her, she showed up, completely unannounced, drunk and in tears. "David," she said, stumbling in through the door. "I'm so sorry. I made a huge mistake. I thought I wanted excitement, but it was just empty. I wanted the luxury, the attention, and I thought Brett could give me that. But he's nothing like you. He's broken now. His family lost everything. They're on the brink of losing it all. We're fighting all the time. He's not the man he used to be. I was wrong. I love you. I always have, and I always will. Please, take me back." She sobbed, and for a second, I almost felt sorry for her. I almost thought, maybe we can try again. Maybe we can pick up where we left off. But I couldn't. I couldn't be the one who waited for her to figure things out. I couldn't be the one who let her go to someone else and then come back when the other guy fell apart. She had chosen him, and now, she wanted to come back to me because the excitement had faded. I looked at her, my heart heavy. "No, Cynthia. You made your choice. You chose the life you wanted, and I wasn't part of it." She tried to argue, to beg me to take her back, but I stood firm. "No," I said, my voice steady. "I've moved on. And you need to, too." Her face fell. She staggered back, looking at me like I was a stranger. And in a way, I was to her now. I was no longer the guy who would let her use him. I was no longer the guy who would put up with being second choice. She left, saying she understood, but I could tell she didn't. The truth is, I was heartbroken. I still had feelings for her. But I knew deep down that I couldn't go back to someone who didn't value me the way I needed to be valued. She had her shot. She chose excitement over stability, and now she had to live with that choice. In the end, I realized something. Love isn't about waiting for someone to come back to you when they've made a mess of things. Love is about being strong enough to walk away, even when it hurts. Because the person who truly values you will never let you go in the first place. And me? I've learned that I don't need someone who'll only see my worth when everything else falls apart. I've worked too hard for this life, for this peace. I'm not going to let anyone take that away. So, yeah. Cynthia can keep her regret. I'm fine with being on my own, because I know I'll never settle for less than I deserve.